Hi, it's Miss Mitchell again.
And Mr. Leatherwood again.
We're going to talk about another way to compare fractions, and we're going to look at the distance from a half and a whole. So let's first talk about a whole in fraction form. So every fraction, every number can be a whole in fraction form, right?
Yeah.
4/4?
Yeah.
If I did your little drawing, let's see if I can do that.
Oh, my little one.
Oh.
I like it. Very cute.
Even if you had a fraction that was talking about eighths. So 8/8 would be 1 whole, right?
Nice.
And then we can find halves of fractions. So let's say I had a denominator that was 8. How is it easy to find half of 8?
Well, if you can divide by 2, you can find half. So, for instance, if I do 8 divided by 2, that's going to give me 4. So 4/8
is equivalent
to 1/2.
Excellent. What if I give you 14?
Okay,
What
again,
would be half?
14 divided by 2 is going to be 7. So half of 14 would be 7. So 7/14 is equivalent to 1/2.
Yay. All right.
Can I ask a tricky question?
Oh, gosh.
Or do you want to do this later?
I want you to just do it now.
Get it done with,
Let's
okay?
get it over with.
So, what about, even numbers are easy to divide by 2. What happens if we have an odd number? Like,
that is a tricky question.
I don't know, like 3. Like if we were doing thirds, for instance.
That's an excellent question. I'm so glad that you brought that up.
Well, thank you.
All right, if I'm going to figure out what 3 would be equivalent to, let's just look at a number line real quick. So we love our number lines.
We do.
1,
That's a good
2.
one.
Thank you. All right, so if I'm going to find half of 3, I could go back 1 on my number line and forward 1. And then I need to find this exact point that is halfway in between 1 and 2, correct?
Yes.
What do you think that would be?
Well, since it's halfway, it would be 1.5.
1.5. So is it fair to say that 1.5 is half of 3?
Yes, I think it is.
Now, would I ever write a fraction like this, Mr. Leatherwood?
No, you really don't want to have a fraction over a fraction.
We don't want that. But ideally, what we're saying is that 1.5 is half of 3, correct?
Yes.
Yes, but we don't want to put two fractions together like that.
Yeah, not until
That's a
algebra
no-no.
or calculus, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, woo, we love that stuff. You think we should find another odd number, or you think we're good?
I think we're okay.
All right. I think they're brilliant, too.
So we're still dividing by 2. We're going to have a fraction in there, right?
Right.
Okay.
It's going to be another half.
Yeah.
All right. All right. We are going to look at comparing to a half. So we're going to look at 3/4 versus 2/6. And in the previous videos, we talked about fractions that have the same numerator and the same denominator. Does this follow either one of those patterns?
No, neither of these patterns work.
So what we're going to do is try and compare them to a half. And this is just another tool you can use to compare. So if I'm going to look at what would half be if I have a 4 in the denominator, what would the numerator have to be equivalent to 1/2?
Well, we learned earlier that you could divide by 2 to get a half. So 4 divided by 2 would be 2. So 2/4 would be 1/2.
Excellent. So if I look at 3/4 and I compare it to its half, which is 2/4, it is greater than a half because 3 is greater than 2. So I'm just going to put a little G up here. And then we can go over here to 2/6. So what would be in the numerator if the denominator was 6?
Well, again, 6 divided by 2 would be 3. So 3/6 would give us 1/2, or would be equivalent to 1/2.
Excellent. So if I compare 2 to 3, 2 is less than 3.
Correct.
So now I can just see that if this fraction is greater than a half and this one is less than a half, then this one, 3/4, is greater than 2/6. And there's my dots.
Oh, there we go there.
Yay.
Very good.
All right.
I like that.
Well, thank you. I like to use logic whenever I can.
Yeah.
Let's try another one. But let's do it a little bit differently. Maybe some odd numbers in there. Throw you for a loop.
That would throw me for a loop.
Let's see what you do with this. how about 4/9 compared to 6/8?
That's a good one.
How about that?
Okay.
Okay. What do you want to start with, Mr. Leatherwood?
I like doing the tricky stuff first, so let's start with 4/9.
Let's get it out of the way. So we have to say what's half of 9, and it's not an even number.
It's not an even number.
So you might know it off the top of your head, but I'm going to draw a number line just for kicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Good
8.
job on your spacing. That was impressive.
Thank you. It gets down to the wire.
Yeah.
All right. So if I'm going to find the middle between 0 and 9, I can go forward 1, back 1. Forward 1, back 1. Forward 1, backward. And I'm just working my way to the middle. Forward 1, back 1.
All right.
So now I had to find the halfway point between 4 and 5, and that would be
4.5.
4 and 1 half. So half of 9 is 4.5. So is 4 greater than or less than 4.5?
It is less than by 1/2.
Excellent. So I'm going to put my L up there. Then I'm going to come over here to 8. And what is half of 8, Mr. Leatherwood?
That one's an easier one. 8 divided by 2 is 4.
Good.
So 4/8 would equal 1/2.
And 6/8 greater than or less than a half?
Definitely greater than.
Definitely, because 6 is greater than 4. So now I can see that this one's greater, this one's less. 6/8 is greater than 4/8.
Wow, using half as a benchmark or an easy number, that's an easy way to do it.
I know, I like it.
I do too.
All right. All right, the last method we're going to talk about is comparing to one whole. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm excited.
Excellent. I keep saying excellent. Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Exceptional.
I need some better word choice.
We need the thesaurus.
I lost what I was going to do. What was I going to do? 3/4? 3/4.
And 7/8, I think.
Yes.
Is what you were excited about.
Oh,
look at you moving words.
come on. Compared to 7/8. All right, Mr. Leatherwood.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you, what do you notice about both of those fractions?
There are a multitude of things, but what I notice is that 3/4 is really close to a whole, because I know a whole is going to be 4/4. And 7/8 is also really close to a whole, because a whole would be 8/8.
All right.
So I know that both of them are real close to a whole.
They're just one away from a whole.
Just one
wouldn't you
away.
say?
I do.
Okay. So what we're going to think about is if I split something between 4 people, is that going to be a bigger or smaller piece than if I split it between 8 people?
Well, it's going to be bigger, because you have to share it with 4 people. So I would personally like to share my cake with only 4 people than 8 people.
Okay, so these are going to be a smaller piece. All right, so let's draw a picture.
I love pictures.
I'm going to do this, and then we're going to cut.
It's a great picture.
Thank you. Alright, so like you said, these are going to be my 8s, and I'm going to represent 7/8 here and then 3/4 here. And you said that 3/4 had the bigger pieces, and you were correct about that.
It happens from time to time.
And
Don't tell my
7/8 has the smaller pieces. Okay, now from my picture, I can tell that 7/8 is greater, right?
It is.
It is.
Just by a little bit.
But the reasoning I can use behind this without having to draw a picture is that if these are the bigger pieces, it's going to be a bigger chunk away from being one whole. This one is a much smaller piece away from making it one complete whole.
I concur.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that means that 7/8
Look at you moving words again.
is greater than 3/4.
Very good.
Would I try another one, do you think?
I think we're okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of the opposite of what we learned earlier, because we learned earlier that we do get bigger pieces.
Like if we have 3... What was it? 3/4 versus 3/8. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so kind of the same principles there.
Because these pieces are still bigger, right?
Definitely.
But because, and these are smaller, but because they have the same number in the numerator, then which one's going to be greater?
Well, then it's going to be, the greater one's going to be 3/4.
Right, because they have the same number of pieces. But here, they're just both one away from a whole. That's the difference.
I gotcha. Cool. I like it.
Beans. Alrighty.
Hot rice.
Peace out.